3, 2, 1. Look, your penis is gonna die. If we wait much longer, I'll be forced to amputate it. That's what the doctor said to me that night as I sat there on the ER table with the pants around my ankles, nurses giggling, and with a purple heart on that pointed to the sky. And this was, without question, the most humiliating part of my life, and it's a story that I rarely share. But today, as mortifying as it is, I feel you have to hear it. Because if you or anyone you know is suffering with any erection problems, you'll want to listen to every word, as this is the most unusual story of how I discovered the answer to naturally eliminating any form of erectile dysfunction, getting hard and staying hard when you want, and giving you lasting power that leaves women awestruck. And after you see what I have to say, you'll discover what the true cause of ED is and turn it around and be able to dive right into the sack and do it over and over and over as many times as you want, and all without any drugs, devices, or nasty side effects. So what I'm about to share with you can't be found anywhere else, I know, because I've looked. I'm Brad Stevens. Before you watch this entire presentation and take in everything I need to share, before you believe what I tell you, you'll want to take note of the true reason why every supposed solution out there to weak or short-lived or non-existent erections is doomed to fail. Those who stay to the very end are the only ones who will have the only answer to getting hard on demand, and it lies in only one thing: unraveling and eliminating the 2 erection killers that I'll be telling you about here in just a moment. So, how did sitting in the ER that night help me find the holy grail of male virility? Well, it all started a few years ago on Valentine's Day. The missus and I had planned a romantic evening, and we had a special reason to celebrate. I'd finally gotten a promotion that I'd worked for years to get. And the dinner was great, and the tension was building up all night and all the way into the bedroom. But after we got undressed and the moment came, then nothing. The harder I tried to get it up, the worse it got. And my wife, Angela, bless her heart, she was supportive and kind about it. She knew what a blow to my ego this was, and she did everything she could to let me know that it was all right. But it really got to me. But I mean, over the last few years, I noticed that I'd lost my libido and I wasn't in the mood as much. And when Angie and I did it, I noticed that it was taking longer to get it up, or sometimes I just wouldn't be as hard as I normally was. And recently, I was having more and more episodes of not being able to get hard at all. I didn't really think much about it. I just thought, it's just stress, or it's just some strange phase or something. But now, after a few months with 100% limpness, something about tonight made me surrender to the simple fact and said, Brad, you have a problem, and it's not going to go away on its own, I told myself. Yet part of me was still not ready to say those 2 words, erectile dysfunction. I remember a time I told myself, I can't imagine having that. That'll never happen to me. I mean, that was something that those other guys got. But reality sunk in. I was one of those other guys now. Did I go out and frantically try to find a solution? No. It was still hard for me to face it. Like a part of me just couldn't really accept it. And sure, on the outside, I was full of life, active, had it all together. But the more time passed, the more I felt like I was hiding something. And the worst part, I saw how it was affecting my wife. As much as I didn't want to fully accept my ED, I wasn't blind to how it was affecting her, too. Those nights when we'd give it a shot all ended up in failure, and sometimes I'd get hard and think, oh yeah, see, well, it was just a phase. But just a few minutes into it, I'd go flaccid again. Now, I'll tell you, there aren't many things more frustrating than wanting to make love and not being able to do so. And even worse, getting into the swing of things and then poof, all gone. And each time she's just kind of patted me on the back and said, it's all right, honey, it happens sometimes. But I could see her frustration. I mean, I felt like I was letting her down, like she was settling for less and I was the cause. But that changed one weekend when we were having one of our family barbecues. I went into the kitchen to grab some more dogs for the grill, and I saw my wife's sister, Janice. We said hi and did our little chit-chat, and then I was walking out, and she grabbed me by the arm and said, Brad, we need to talk. Now, maybe it was the way she looked at me, but I knew exactly what she was talking about. My shoulders fell, and I dropped the dogs on the counter. She's told me all about it, Brad. Look, you got to talk to her. If you don't do something about it, she's going to leave you. Oh man, I thought, well, she was right. How long was I just going to brush this under the rug? That night, Angie and I talked about it for the first time, and she told me how she felt, and I just had to swallow it and take it all in. What really cut deep, though, was when she said, "Brad, I feel so guilty, but when a man pays attention to me, I can't help but feel attracted to him. I mean, you're not even trying. You act like you don't even have an issue." Well, that was it. The next morning, I made an appointment to see a urologist, and he rattled off a bunch of questions. Do I have diabetes? No. Do I smoke? Nope. How much exercise do I do? A lot. What do I usually eat? Well, I eat healthy. And then he gave me an inspection to see if there was anything physically wrong. And after looking over my blood tests, he peered over his thick glasses and scratched his head and muttered, "Brad, you're as healthy as a horse. You should be running marathons." And then he just shrugged and said, I think you should try Viagra. And then he said, "Now, it's pretty expensive. It's $35 a pill, so I'll give you some samples with different doses to see which works best for you." $35 a pill, Jesus. I mean, more like a $35 erection extortion fee. But hey, I was at the end of my rope, so I thought to myself, Brad, you need to solve this. It's not just your marriage. It's not just about being intimate with your woman. It's about being a man again. You want to feel alive again. You want to do whatever it takes to get your erections back again. And then the doctor looked me sternly in the eye and huffed, "Now, if you get an erection lasting more than 4 hours, you need to call me or go into an ER. And I was like, okay. I think a 4-hour stiffy would be great. What could be wrong with that? But yeah, sure. Well, later on after dinner, I said, okay, bottoms up. We weren't too sure what to expect, but about 20 minutes later, bingo, we got liftoff. After a year of nothing, it was glorious. But little did I know the nightmare that was right around the corner. And when we were done, I was still hard. Well, that's fantastic. This little blue pill really does the trick, and then some. Maybe the $35 extortion fee per pill actually was worth it after all. Well, we made love 2 more times, but on the second time, I started to feel a little bit lightheaded, and my head started to hurt. And about an hour later, I noticed that I was still hard and lightheaded, and my skin was flush and my heart was racing, and not because of the bedroom gymnastics that I'd just performed. This was different, and my penis was starting to hurt. Really bad. And then I remembered what the doctor had said to me. If you get an erection lasting more than 4 hours, you need to call me or go to an ER. So I called the doctor, even though it was after midnight. I got the voicemail, of course. Damn. ER. Do I really have to go to an ER? Well, I woke Angie up, and she said that I didn't look too good. I was sweating, and now I was in pain. So without hesitation, she blurts out, "We got to go to the ER, now." So there I was, sitting on the ER table at full mast, trying to forget the look the young girl at check-in gave me when I told her what I was there for. Well, the doctor walks in, and of course, as my luck would have it, she's this stunning, supermodel-looking redhead. What happened to the old doc? And to make matters worse, she comes in with 2 nurses. Female nurses who looked barely out of college. If there was a hole small enough and dark enough on planet Earth, I wanted to find it and crawl right into it. Then I start to wince as Dr. Supermodel proceeds to twist my guy back and forth like she was shifting gears on a Mack truck just to see what was going on. Now, she sighed and flatly said, "You've got priapism. It's a side effect of Viagra, and we see it a lot here. The good news is that you got here in time to do something about it. The bad news is there's only one way to treat it, and we have to treat it now. I'm going to have to drain blood from your penis." And as she said that, out of nowhere, she pulls out this 18-gauge syringe from her pocket. The blood drained from my face. I think it drained from every other part of my body too, except my dick. But there the doctor was, nurses behind her trying hard and failing miserably to hide their giggles, telling me all this with a straight face as if this could not be any more humiliating. And I asked if there was anything else that we could do. "Well, here's the deal, Brad. Your penis is gonna die. If we wait much longer, I'll be forced to amputate it. And you don't want that, do you? If we don't drain the blood from it, it will literally suffocate to death, and we'll have to cut it off." She explained that when someone has a priapism, blood is stuck inside the penis. It can't leave, so blood can go in, but it can't get out. And that's why I was in excruciating pain. And that's also why my new blood could not get in. It's too full, so the blood in there is just stagnant. Since no new blood is entering, it stops getting oxygen. So if I don't do something right now, the cells will start dying and my member will have to be surgically cut off. So she then proceeded to unceremoniously stick this 18-gauge syringe right in there. And you know what? She didn't even need to draw the blood out because blood just started gushing into the tube, and when it filled up, she did it again. And then again. And the pain, oh God, it was painful. Okay, she said, looking proudly like she had just finished icing a cake. Looks like we drained 2 pints out of there. Guess you're gonna keep it after all. Well, the next day, my dick looked like it had been through a UFC fight and forgotten to tap out. And the worst part? I still had my ED. So the next few weeks after I recovered from my blue pill baptism of fire, Angie and I said to hell with medical pills, we wanted a second opinion. And like any mature, respectable, well-informed adult, we chose consultant Dr. Google. For months, we went through the parade of all the cures out there, herbal pills, devices, exercises, and yes, even injections. And I read something about testosterone and how it was one of the main culprits of impotence. But after visiting a specialist, we found out that my T levels were normal. So now we're right back where we started. I was now utterly unresponsive to any stimulation, and it sucked. I felt totally emasculated. I knew there were older men, more out of shape and with no problems in this department, so I was cursed. But every time I saw my better half, I remembered what she said way back when we had that first talk, when she said, I'm getting attracted to other men, basically. And I remember her sister telling me that the woman I loved was considering having an affair. So I could not give up. I mean, even if she left me, what woman would want to be with a man who can't make love to her? My confidence was hugging the bottom of the barrel. And it wasn't until I set aside all the crazy, risky, and quacky gimmicks out there that seemed to be just out to get my money that I started to study the actual science of erections. Like actual scientific research. What a concept, huh? And what I found was astounding. There are actually different kinds of ED. There are men who can't stay hard, which means they can get it up, but it doesn't stay hard, and they can't complete sexual intercourse. And then there are men who can't get hard enough for penetration. And then there are those who find that it takes a very long time to get hard. And then there are those who can't get hard at all. Now, before you start wondering what's causing it for you, here's what you need to know. There are different types of ED, and each type has more than one cause. Now, get this, if your solution addresses only one of those causes, not only will it fail to work, it can make things much worse. So, just like me, most men who start with some variety of dysfunction eventually experience all of them until they cannot get hard at all. And only those who get what I'm about to tell you will see that if you don't address its true root causes, you could lose the ability to get one at all. So now, let's get into what causes each of these symptoms. I call them erection killers. Now, there are actually 2 causes of ED, not one. Every single solution out there only deals with one, and that's why results are usually so hit and miss. Once you learn how to spot these 2 causes and fix them at the same time, then you can have the assurance that you can get hard when you need to and stay hard as long as you need, time and time again. So, what are these 2 causes? Well, the first is not enough blood going into your penis. Once you get aroused, your brain sends a signal to relax the blood vessels inside, and this causes blood to flow in, and that's what makes you hard. But if they don't relax, then I'm sure you can imagine, blood either does not go within or not enough blood will go inside, right? Well, this is what occurs when you can't get stiff to begin with or when you can't get hard enough to have intercourse. If you're experiencing no response whatsoever or an abnormally long time to get hard or only partially get hard, that isn't as full as it was before, then this is your erection killer. So what stops these vital channels of blood from relaxing when they need to? Well, it comes down to one chemical called nitric oxide that your muscle tissue produces. Now remember that signal that comes from your brain when you're aroused? When your muscles get that signal, they release this nitric oxide. And if you're not producing enough of this chemical, your vessel walls won't relax and open up, and then blood can't go inside. Yet, like I said, that's just the first part of the equation. The second erection killer has nothing to do with vessels relaxing and opening up. In fact, they may relax just fine for you, but you're still stuck pushing a wet rope up a hill, basically. So, what's the deal here? This is something that people aren't being told. It's that blood is rushing out more than it's rushing in. So, think of it like a long balloon. In the first erection killer, not enough air is going into the balloon. With the second erection killer, air is escaping the balloon. You see, the way you're designed is to have blood rush in when you're aroused and to stay in there until you're not aroused anymore. So just like your muscles produce nitric oxide to cause your veins and arteries to relax and therefore allow blood to rush in and get you hard, your body also produces another chemical that forces blood to leave your penis. And this chemical is called phosphodiesterase type 5, or PDE5 for short. Now, PDE5 is meant to be released only after you're finished with intercourse, or when you no longer feel aroused. But for many, it's released all the time, or released too soon, or released in random times. So if you're sprouting stiffies but get soft too soon, even right before you go inside, or even while you're inside your partner, this is your erection killer. In this case, it obviously won't matter how much blood channels relax and open up. No matter how much blood will travel inside, it'll rush back out anyway. So the reason every other solution out there doesn't work is because it deals with only one erection killer or the other. Pills like Viagra and Cialis are a class of drugs called PDE inhibitors. Now remember that chemical that I told you about, PDE5? The one that pushes blood out of the penis? Well, a PDE inhibitor is a drug that stops your PDE chemicals from draining vital blood out of where it needs to be. But that's also why a side effect is that painful and dangerous priapism that blood can't escape. Testosterone therapy is not a solution either. Most men who suffer with this, in fact, have adequate testosterone. And not only that, this kind of therapy has been shown to increase the risk of stroke. Pumps work only because they expand the vessels, but they won't stop blood from leaving. And they're cumbersome, expensive, and time-consuming. And the same applies to every other gadget out there. Herbal pills sometimes increase blood flow in, but they don't stop blood from leaving. And if you're like the men that I've come to know who suffer with this, you already know, besides being painfully expensive, they just simply don't work. The only solution is to 1. Allow your body to naturally relax its blood channel walls when you're aroused, and 2. To keep your blood from leaving too soon, and do it naturally without dangerous or harmful side effects. Now, when you can permit your body to do those two things naturally, you can be hard on command. Now that I had the bullseye to hone in on, I started looking for every natural way to eliminate both of these erection killers. And it wasn't easy. I'm no health guru, and frankly, all the health gurus out there seem to be an expert in only one thing, and that was taking my damn money. So I wondered, is there a supplement, a kind of food, or some way of changing my lifestyle that eliminated both erection killers? One that's easy to find, one that's inexpensive, and that doesn't have any side effects. And it turns out the answer to all those questions is yes. After you discover where to look, how much and when to take, and most importantly, what combo to take them in, your bedroom problems will be over. It took over a year of looking, being willing to try different things out, thinking, I'm not even sure this will work. And there were days when I practically screamed, I have it! I have the answer! And then the ED would come back. Yet, those small results told me that I was at least on the right track. So I started journaling what I did, and I marked the consecutive days that I was able to have no erection problems whatsoever. And the magic moment came when one night I was lying in bed with Angie, and we both looked at each other and had the same thought. It's been a month straight with no ED. 30 days straight with no symptoms whatsoever. So, did I have the solution now? Could I let myself believe this is real now? That this is truly happening? Is the war finally over? Ever since stumbling onto a certain formula, everything seemed to change. I was consistently getting hard on demand many times a day, even right after ejaculation. Things just seemed to be, well, like I was normal again. Like it used to be. We were like newlyweds again. No, scratch that. We were like teenagers again. Our nights in bed would give Cirque du Soleil a run for their money. And now here's where it really gets interesting though. One night after dinner, my wife, out of the blue, just asked me this question. Honey, would you be willing to share your formula with others? Maybe, I don't know. Why? I asked skeptically. Little did I know, she was telling her friends about our little issues, and it turns out her friends were going through the same thing, and they had been plying her for the scoop on how we turned it around. Man, since searching through so many online forums and chat groups, I knew there was an ocean of men out there, both young and old, that needed this help. But at this moment, it really hit home. I told her, To be honest, hon, I just don't know whether I really want to help other guys. Not that I don't want to help them. I just don't know if I want to get all cuddly with other dudes talking about their you-know-whats. And then she says to me, well, why don't you just write it down and I'll give it to them? Not a bad idea. The thought of letting other men suffer what I went through and what my wife went through, what our marriage went through, just wasn't acceptable. So I did it. At first, it was a scrappy Word document. I said, here you go, hon, let them try it out. There's no harm in trying it after all, now is there? Then, about a week later, Angie calls me over to her computer and points at the screen. Says, take a look at this email. It said, Brad, thank you so much. You saved my sex life. Then another longer email from someone else that said, hey, Brad, you don't know me, but your wife gave your formula to my wife. I could rarely get hard enough to do it, and it was getting worse. More and more times I couldn't even get an erection. Well, problem solved. All solved. I'm now harder and last longer than before. Thank you. I mean it. Thank you. Now, a week later, things got really strange. My little Word document started spreading. A few weeks later, my wife showed me this email. Brad, I got your manual from a friend of mine. He passed it on to me in the locker room at my gym. Hey, I wanted to reach out and thank you. I'm practically hard on demand now. And when I showed this email to Angie, she sat down, she read it, and paused, and then looked up at me and said, hard on demand. What a great name for a book. Brad, you need to create a website and sell this. There's so many men like you out there who need this and want to buy it. And she could tell I wasn't really into it. And she looked at me with that look and said, Brad, I talked to the wives of these men. If men who are suffering like you and I were don't get help, their wives will leave. And if they don't leave, then they're more likely to have an affair. And if not that, each of them will have part of themselves live in quiet desperation. Now, why would you want this to happen? And if these men aren't married or in a relationship now, what do you think their chances are as long as they're stuck with this? If you don't help them get this as soon as possible, you're basically deciding that they live in quiet desperation like we did. Well, kind of hard to argue with that. And besides, concocting these natural home remedies has become a bit of a hobby of mine now, and I've improved things a ton. I've found studies showing how 3 specific amino acids in exact, easy-to-measure ratio, and only after they are combined together, was shown to reverse erectile dysfunction in a staggering 92.5% of men. After I was able to find the exact amounts to take and when to take them and how to find the right kind to take, and they're only a few cents a day, I found so many foods, juices, and herbs that eliminate both erection killers that you can transform any old grocery store into a personal hard-on pharmacy. And the best part? It doesn't matter where you are. There are so many options to choose from. No man will be left behind. Now, I also discovered a slew of chemicals that these big companies spew into our environment that actually force blood to stay away from the penis. Speaking of which, remember erection killer number 2, the chemical that forces blood to leave, thus causing you to get soft again? I was able to find all the methods there are to block this chemical from killing your hard-ons. And they're all based on nature, so they don't have any side effects. All the men who use this right away say it even boosted their libido, mental focus, and fat burning. That little Word document that I started before is now a full-blown Bible for any man suffering with any kind of problem getting and staying hard. Any kind of orgasm problem, including premature ejaculation and weak orgasms, and any loss of libido. Since then, I've plunged my way through creating this amateur site, allowing folks like you who I'd never meet in person to buy it and download it right now. And just by word of mouth, the testimonials have been pouring in. I had the eye-opening pleasure of speaking not just with the men who sent me their testimonials, but their wives, fiancés, and girlfriends who wanted to thank me personally. Even though in the beginning I didn't care about talking to anyone about something so personal, now it was a whole different story. And it's like being in a desert where thousands of men are dying of thirst and I have the water hose. It was time for me to shuck my shyness and stop being so damn selfish. Have courage and to take a stand for others, to take a stand for you. When we started getting letters from guys so desperate they started ordering pills from Mexico, India, or God knows where, hurting themselves with untested concoctions and devices, Angie and I decided that we just had to reach more people. to make it as simple as possible for any man to get results without taking any of those dangerous, expensive, and complicated risks. So we looked at how we could slash costs as low as we can so that we could make this available in a way where anyone can afford it. So to meet basic expenses and to keep it up for you to download today, you won't have to deal with blue pills for $35 a pop, only to risk cancer or getting your dick chopped off. No $2,000 testosterone treatments that can backfire and risk heart attacks. No hundreds of dollars wasted on gizmos and gadgets that are a waste of time. And to top it off, none of these wallet-draining, soul-crushing solutions attack both erection killers anyway. No, you'll be paying a tiny, risk-free amount when you download Hard On Demand today for only $59.95. Now, if you end up choosing to order this now, before the end of this presentation, you could, of course, go on and do so when you click the button right down there. But there are still a few things that I want you to know. That small $59.95 amount is what allows Angie and me to keep this site going. We don't take any money from it. It's up to you whether you want to pay and contribute to keeping this accessible to all men, or whether you don't want to pay and pitch in to keep it alive. It's all up to you volunteering to pay. So either way, you risk nothing. You don't have to lose a penny, and you can even keep your money if you choose. Now here's why. Because after you hit the button, fill in the few bits of information on the next page so I can get you to the download page right away. You can try everything out for 60 full days. It's so simple to do. All your ED problems are a thing of the past, or you get your money back. If you don't get full, rock-hard, and lasting power like you were a teen again, where it was an automatic, spontaneous response to being aroused, no matter how many times a day it is, if you don't stay hard as long as you need or want, where you'll be able to experience full, satisfying orgasms, you have a full 60 days to take advantage. Take as long as you need, explore and experiment with it, and see that it is everything you hoped it would be and more. So no matter what, you can email us a one-sentence email asking for your money back. You'll get it right away. No hassles, no questions, nothing awkward or uncomfortable. That's why you risk nothing. There's truly no reason not to at least try this out for yourself. Now, is there? Yet before you go ahead and join the thousands who've made the decision to order this, there are 3 things you'll be thrilled to know. Now, I told you earlier how I've found not just a few, but several paths you can improve a man's sexual prowess. Well, since writing the first version of and dramatically improving your Hard On Demand manual many times over, I've since written my second manual called Last Forever. Last Forever is my uncensored roadmap that reveals how you can eliminate once and for all premature ejaculation and last as long as you want. But only after you've followed the astonishing yet simple tricks in this book. You can take ridiculous ideas like doing math in your head and Kegel exercises and whatnot and chuck them in the trash. You see, there's a switch in your body that controls how long it takes for you to orgasm. If that switch is broken, you ejaculate too soon. When you fix it, you'll last as long as you need to. It's the perfect follow-up to Hard On Demand. And I followed that up with my third manual called Foods for Super Sex. The folks who buy and read and apply what's in this report now see sexual apathy as a distant memory. Foods for Super Sex is all about the sneaky, tiny, and often counterintuitive adjustments that you can make with your diet to blow your libido through the roof. No, your sexual desire is not supposed to diminish with age. There are societies that are having generous sexual activity well into their 70s, and it all comes down to the cultural, diet, and lifestyle practices they follow, and that we've been denied knowledge to until now, that is. And last but not least, you're also downloading 100% free my most recent guide called Make Her Scream. Now, just as it sounds, this guide is the inside 411 on the shortest path between a dull, same old roll in the sack to your wife, girlfriend, or significant other experiencing mind-melting, thigh-quivering, 4th of July, Stars and Stripes Forever level orgasms every single night. With this bonus, you'll want to put the kitties away and soundproof the room, and have some smelling salts and a defibrillator standing by as well. But seriously, if my book Hard on Demand is like a Ferrari in a world of Toyotas, all of these bonuses, when you combine and use them together with your freshly downloaded Hard on Demand manual, is like locking not one, but 3 space shuttle rockets onto your Ferrari and clicking the go switch. Together, they naturally and effortlessly put you in the driver's seat when it comes to how you perform horizontal boogie every single day when you are in command again. Not only are you going to download Hard on Demand for less than any other solution that you'd have to pay for right now, you'll be able to download each bonus, Last Forever, Food for Super Sex, and Make Her Scream completely free. It's a gift. A gift for who? Well, for all the people out there who are action takers, because it's those get off your butt breeds. It's you who will get the fastest, biggest, and longest results. I want to change lives now. I want to save marriages. I want to restore happiness and joy and fulfillment. See, there's a few things that I'm expecting to hear from you. Stories like Mike's, who was a young guy and was hit with it in his early 20s. He was unable to perform for 5 years. It broke his mind and his sexual spirit to the point where he didn't even bother approaching women anymore. He wrote this, "Brad and Angie, thank you so much for your manuals and your support. I'm now normal again. I felt like I was a walking ghost when it came to sex in the hope of having a sex life, and now I'm back. I feel like a man again. And you know what? It's true that women respond to my confidence more than anything." And then there's Amir from Arizona, who first contacted us because he was a little bit skeptical. He'd tried so many different things and gotten absolutely nowhere. He says, "When I tried the stuff you taught in your Last Forever and Make Her Scream manual, I thought there was no way this could work, but man, does it ever. In fact, it works too good. It's the perfect icing on the cake for getting my hard-ons back. Thank you so much for making this available." And let's not forget about Ruben from New York. He said, "Page 12 of Hard On for Life and page 17 of Last Forever are worth triple the price of everything I paid. Why did you include them? They change everything." Now, how valuable would it be to you to simply try without risking anything at all to get strong, firm, and full again when you need them and last as long as you need? If in just a few days you could have this, what would you do differently? How would you feel about your days without this curse, or about your life, or about yourself, or about your future? Everyone has a different answer, but there's one common theme to all of them. It's about respect. The respect you feel when you live as fully as a man as possible. To live dominant in every area of your life. Now, right now at this moment, you have 3 choices. First, you can do nothing. You can go on, live your life as you already have, and maybe things will get better. And maybe they won't. But odds are, they'll actually get worse. You and I both know this is true. But I honor your decision. After all, no one could make you buy this against your will, now can they? Second, you can take what I've shared with you and you can try to fix your erectile dysfunction naturally on your own. You've read my story, and I can promise you it'll be a long, long journey, and it'll be expensive. It'll suck up your time, it'll siphon your money, and it will eviscerate your peace of mind. But that's your prerogative, and again, I cannot make your decisions for you. I can't reach out and make your hands tap on your mouse. I can only honor the decision you've made. And then there's the third path. Do not decide right now. Instead, just download it. Try it for 60 days and then decide if you want your money back. Even if you ask for and get every penny back, everything you download today is yours to keep no matter what. I mean, this is more than fair. You'll get total and full access to everything, and you can see if it's right for you. And you'll have 2 entire months to do it. And you still get to keep it if you get your money back. Now, sure, some of the people who take advantage of this are just trying to cheat me, and that's unfortunate. But most that take this incredible risk-free offer are good people and just want to make love the way you once could. I believe you're one of those good people. I trust you. Rose from Washington sent me an email. She said she secretly wished that there was a way to help her husband. He was proud and wouldn't want to talk about it, and it was hurting her, not just because of her own desires, but because she felt she couldn't help her husband. Here's what she wrote. She said, "Brad, thank you for what you've done. My husband is one of those men who won't talk about his problems. We tried many times to have sex, and it just wouldn't work because of his erectile dysfunction. And that was years ago. I just resigned resigned to myself in believing that we would never have sex again, not because there were no solutions, but because my husband is not one to ask for help. But with your manuals, I was able to help him without him even knowing it. The foods, the recipes, the advice, it all worked, and he didn't even know I was doing anything. Seeing the change in him is a relief. I had no idea how much this was affecting the both of us until it was fixed. Now, we're closer again. Greg from Fairfax, Virginia was surprised that there were so many other benefits that he wasn't expecting. He said, "Hi, Brad and Angie. I was hoping that this was only going to help me with my ED. I was skeptical, but it worked, and I've been able to get hard like before, but I had no idea that there were so many other benefits. My blood pressure is down. I sleep better. I have more mental focus. I just feel relaxed. It's like I feel younger in general. Thank you so much." And let's not forget Jeremy in San Luis Obispo, California. Here's what he had to say. He said, "I'm pissed. If I'd found your manual earlier, I'd have saved thousands of dollars. What you teach is so straightforward and uncomplicated, and I don't ever have to worry about those side effects. That blue pill and all the variations of it gave me headaches and sometimes made it hard for me to even see at night. And those herbs, what a waste of time. Oh, and my girlfriend wants me to thank you for your bonuses. She said you told me all the things she wanted to tell me when we were having sex. So thank you so much, Brad." You have a chance at all of this right now. There's no reason anymore to wait. There's no point allowing all the fears, disappointments, and failures of the past make our decisions for us. You can let them all go and stay where they belong, in the past, when you tap on the button that says, "Get my sex life back." And after you hit that button and then fill out the quick form, we'll see you right on the other side, a page waiting there for you, ready to download it to your computer, your iPhone, your tablet, or any device you want, and ready to take you where you and I know that you want to go. You'll gain instant access to the entire Hard On Demand manual. All the information, all the results, all the improvements I've made, all the details, the painless instructions, you own it. And you can use it in as little as 2 minutes from right now. Because when you order this today, I'm protecting you with my 60-day, 100% money-back guarantee. All the risk has been removed. Now here's what to do. Hit the button right there that says "Get my sex life back." It's right under this video. You'll get everything that I've talked about. You'll then have a full 2 months to evaluate the powerful, permanent, and instant erection generating manual I've created. After you go through the manual, follow the no-brainer instructions that are inside, I guarantee that you will be blown away by how immediate and full the hard-ons you get are, and how you're able to achieve them on demand at the slightest touch. If you're not happy with this, all you need to do is send a one-sentence email asking for a refund to the address that you get inside the manual, and I will immediately refund your entire purchase, 0 questions asked, promise. In other words, I'm going to take all the risk here. You have nothing to lose. Hard On Demand and the 3 bonuses that you get with it are life-changing. Those that have applied even a small part of it are closer to their partners than ever before. Their relationships have improved. Their levels of happiness, satisfaction, fulfillment, confidence, pride, and respect are higher than ever before. Like Dan, whose symptoms started getting worse over time. He wrote in and said, "I thought I'd suffer in silence forever. It was degrading. You've given me back my self-worth." Now, if you decide to order now before anything affects this site or any increase in the prices, you'd be doing yourself a favor to order it now. It's those who act now instead of waiting till they lost their chance to win at life. If you're ready to get started, you really do need to take action, because we don't know if this price will allow us to keep it online for you. If you come back to this page a week from now and you find this video has been taken down, I'm sorry to say there simply won't be anything that I can do for you. Although, why would anyone even wait? After all, if you remember, you have absolutely no risk. Your results are guaranteed, and you can reverse your ED. You'll be bigger, you'll be thicker, you'll last longer than you ever have, and your libido will be lit up like a furnace. So go ahead and strike the button. Fill out the information on the next page, and then you'll get to the download page right away. It's there waiting for you now. Trust your gut and do it. You see, it's not just about the personal transformation you go through after you bang on that button. Fill in your information, download and use the dead easy techniques I reveal. It's about your lover. the woman you love and want to please, and the impact it makes on her. To not fix this part of your life, to not keep trying new ideas, to not take a chance, is saying that she's not worth it. It's saying that she should not live with the joy of being able to have deep, full, lasting, and passionate sex with you, to be ravaged by you. It's just saying that lovemaking is just not an important part of your relationship. And all of that is wrong. And I know you don't feel that way because it is an important part of your relationship. Make no mistake about it. It's one of the ways you experience connection, closeness, and intimacy. And let me tell you something. Angie, and what many wives, lovers, and girlfriends who've transformed their life under the sheets with my humble books have said to me is the same thing time and time again. They keep saying, the woman you love is who craves deeply satisfying, real, natural, passionate sex with you. And the more time passes, she is the one who craves it more. A woman's sexual desire is like a fine wine. It gets better with age. So there's no other way to say this. But when you take action right now, it's not just about you. It's about the woman who you love. It's about being a man. For who? For her. And you have the chance right now. Once you put your cursor over that button and tap your finger on the mouse, I'll need to know where to shoot you the link to download Hard On Demand and the 3 bonuses right away so you can download it quickly and easily. Use it and transform from it in about 2 minutes from now. So after you get there, take a few seconds, fill in that information on the next page to speed up and complete the process. And once you've downloaded it, you have it in your hands. It's yours forever. And afterwards, you can use them on your computer, laptop, iPhone, tablet, you name it. Now, for me personally, I'm sick and tired of, paying money for products that don't work. Yet, isn't the only way to answer this to see for yourself? There are the testimonials I shared earlier and more to come shortly, but you are the one that has to decide. So no matter what, you have 60 days to decide to keep it or decide to get your money back. You just have to send an easy-to-write email and ask for a refund, and it's done. I'm taking all of the risk here. Just follow what I say. It's a walk in the park, and see that you'll be astonished at what comes about. Like I said before, I'm willing to take the stand for you. I want you to have a chance. So poke that button with your cursor, place your order, and turn things around for yourself now while you're still here right now. Never again will you worry like before about not being able to perform or satisfy a partner. That's in the past. If you've ever struggled to get it up, well, those days will be behind you. The other great thing is that after you use this information, things in that department will start to improve as time goes on. You'll defy the odds. You'll leave doctors scratching their heads, and not to mention all the other men who don't know about this or who didn't take action. Your sudden boost in confidence will show in your posture, your walk, your talk. After you get this and follow the plain, user-friendly steps that I lay out, you'll naturally and easily get yourself the type of attention from women that every man wants, yet so few get. So do us both a favor. Try it. You have nothing to lose. I've done the hard work. I've jumped through the hoops. I've done the trial and error. You don't have to. All you have to do is try it and see that it works. Click the button, place your order, download the books. It'll take under 2 minutes. Now look, if you're suffering with any problems with getting or staying hard, nothing is going to change unless you make a change. Right now, you're the gatekeeper to the future you desire. Now, because I'm going to have to get going soon, you are going to need to choose soon. You can just leave this page and live your life the way it is right now. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're still here, it's because you want change. You want things to be better. Are you going to keep wishing and hoping? Or keep spending your hard-earned money on drugs and medications that you already know won't work and that have so many hidden and awful, even deadly side effects? You see, this is what I've seen with myself and with the men that I've helped. Things are either going to get better or they're going to get worse. That's the fork in the road that will always be there. Whether you take action or whether you choose not to take action is what will determine which side of the road you end up on. That's just the way it is. And I know you already know that. And I know you're already seeing that. What were once small things have now gotten worse as time has gone on. When is it enough? What will you need to experience to decide that it's time to take action and turn it around forever? The bottom line here is you owe it to yourself to at least give this a try. For the sake of your own self-respect, for your honor, and for your dignity, and not to mention for your special woman. Try the Hard on Demand manual right now. Once again, completely risk-free. There is no reason not to. Before you know it, you can be getting the fullest, strongest erections of your life whenever you want and without any drugs, weird Eastern herbs, or sketchy low-T treatments. Don't you at least deserve a chance to reverse the root cause of your ED instead of just using wallet-draining, painful, or complicated Band-Aids? And let me remind you, I'm not making a penny for this. You will decide if you want to pay after you've completed the system. You'll either be happy and excited to pay for it, or you won't pay for it at all. The question is, how much would you pay if you knew it could solve any erection problems forever? I'm sure it's a lot more than $59.95. So why are we still here talking? Hit the button just a bit further down the page and get started. I mean, let's get real here. In the next few days, you'll end up spending $59.95. Somehow, some way, that'll happen. Right now, you can choose what you will get. And you know you can get that $59.95 back in the next 60 days if you want to. Trust your gut. Listen to the voice, the one that has helped you take the chances you needed to get the success that you've had in your life. Do the smart thing. Hit the button, fill out the form on the next page, and when you do, the answer you've been hoping for all this time will be in your hands. Hit the button now. You have nothing to lose and a new life to gain.